So when it comes to watering our pigs, we've got to run these black pipes and hoses everywhere. But in the wintertime, we have to try to use a frost-free spigot. It's a wicked pain in the butt. So the plan is we're gonna run a water line underground to a frost-free hydrant, and that's gonna be right beside our grain silo. All the way to that silo. You dig a little ditch. Behind that generator, over the house. The excavator showed up, so we're digging water lines earlier than expected. They're supposed to be here tomorrow, but they're here today, so we're getting to work. Hey guys, so I got a little bit behind. Last time we was looking at this, we had the trench all dug, but it's been like 2 weeks now. We had a bunch of rain come, had a bunch of work come up, and I just couldn't get to it. So tomorrow is my first real day to actually start putting in sand, running the pipes, doing some actual work. The problem though, is that our trench is filled up full of turtles and frogs. And there's probably 2 feet of water in the bottom of our trench, which is pretty sweet. So I'm gonna grab the farm manager, we're gonna pump the water out, then go on a big frog and turtle hunting trip. Try to get them all out of there before I start putting sand in there. And it should be dry the next several days, and hopefully we can get this all put in.
It slipped between my fingers. Like I had it in my hand, and it just slipped through my fingers. I got the frog. And he isn't getting out. Coming out. Bam!
Oh, look at that size of that one. Yeah.
Go on. Go on. Go on and don't come back in like last time. Our 4th turtle. So many turtles.
Alright, so we managed to get almost all the water out of the trench yesterday, and then we spent the whole evening chasing frogs, turtles, and getting them out of the trench, re-catching them after they fall back in the trench, tossing them out. So now I gotta go through and we gotta put a bed, maybe 6 inches or so, of sand along the whole bottom of the trench. And that's so we can take our water line and bed it down inside that sand, and our conduit inside that sand, so there's no big stones that could push into it and potentially puncture our line. So that's the next step. So the rest of the day is really just going to be putting sand into the trench, lugging buckets, using the tractor where I can. And then from there we'll rough in our lines where they're going to go, fill them again with a little more sand, and then we can start backfilling with all the other larger aggregates, clay and stones and whatever other junk's kicking down there. So it's starting to get warm out. Let's get to work. Man, these buckets sure are a lot of work, but I can't get my tractor in here, so I'm stuck on the ends and where some of our piles are, putting in sand by buckets. It is what it is. Inside this trench, there's actually a handful of rocks that have slipped down inside. So what I'm going to do is just put down a layer over the whole thing of sand, and then I'll go back through the rake and smooth it out and pick out those big rocks, make sure they're not going to be under where our pipe's gonna lay. I'll get it all smoothed out. Now there is still some water down inside there. We've got to hit like a little tiny spring underneath there. But I'm gonna basically do the ends where it's all dry, work my way to the middle, push that water a little bit, and then I'll go ahead right in the very center. We dug a big hole so that water can drain to that hole. I'll pump it, suck it out, then start putting the sand in there. Try to keep it as dry as I can while I backfill. So that's the plan. All right, more buckets. So you can kind of see here, I've got a little layer here of sand put down, and it stops right about here where the sand stops, and I kind of get into the clay, and there's some stones here and there, little ones, and we get some wetness. I'm just gonna go ahead and put the sand down and up until it starts to get really wet, and then I'll go back through the rake and kind of smooth that out, pick out them few rocks, get them out of the way, and smooth out this sand here, and give us a nice clean bed. Well, that's enough work for one day. I don't know how many buckets of sand I've been hauling, but there's now a solid bed throughout the whole trench. I actually forgot midway through the day to film a whole bunch of what was going on. But basically, I had to start at two ends and work my way to the center at the lowest spot, keep adding soil so that what residual water was down there would kind of get pushed along, and then I'd have to stop every so often, pump the water out, and then go back to refilling, backfilling, and that's done. So much of the prep is done now. It's getting kind of late, and I'm pretty exhausted. So probably the next thing I'll work on is smoothing out the sand, taking any big stones out of there, and then I got a little bit of prep to do around our grain silo, because there are 3/4 inch crushed stones on the backside, and some of it has eroded a little bit. So I've got to build a little mini retaining wall, just enough to keep the stones from falling, and that'll be the last of the prep. So I'll probably get the rest of that done tomorrow, and then we can actually start putting pipes in, then backfilling on top of that, then getting the water lines hooked up, actually plumbed in, go to the electrical lines as well. I've got a few days to work on it, but like all things, they don't always, most projects don't go according to plan. So I'm gonna break up this whole video into a few videos. You can kind of see what's going on and follow along. And then if there is a particular point or part of the project that's most relevant to you, you can just jump to that little video. And that'll be the easiest way to go that I've got. So yeah, so that's it. Hang with us till next time, and I'll follow up with you guys shortly. Thanks for watching.